Hi everyone, I'm Allison Smith. We're so happy to have you here with us from the Energycast studios in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Let's take a look at December's top stories. Asking the right question can go a long way. In this case, it's saving millions on an Oak Ridge project. Find out more about the change that's speeding up cleanup work. And a big build is taking shape at the Horizon Center. We'll show you the progress on Triso-X's new fuel fabrication facility. And stick around to the end. A historian is cooking her way through Oak Ridge's past. How she's sharing the stories of women from the Manhattan Project through their recipes. One employee's initiative is paying off in a big way at Y12. OREM and UCOR are making progress towards demolishing the massive Alpha 4 building. And thanks to a team member's questioning attitude, the project is moving faster and saving taxpayers millions of dollars.
Projects at Y12 are complex, and Alpha 4 is no exception. The facility previously supported uranium and lithium separation before it was shut down in the 1960s. Now, teams are preparing it for demolition, which involves clearing out all classified equipment inside the 561,000 square foot building.
It could be the size of like panels and electrical panels and things like that that had special labeling and stuff on them. It could be a pump or something like that that's in the building.
Initial estimates showed that job could take 4.5 years and cost $66 million. But UCOR project manager Brian Hudson saw an opportunity to get cleanup moving sooner.
I just believe that it's always good to have a questioning attitude because sometimes it's not what you ask, but it's how you ask it and who you ask it to.
Working with OREM, the Y12 field office, and classification personnel, Brian helped develop a new approach, cutting the number of items requiring special removal from 3,000 to 300. The change shortens the schedule by more than a year and saves $16 million.
A great story to tell that we're all just working together, trying to accomplish the same goal, and we're saving the government and ultimately the taxpayers so much money, and our schedule is reduced and we can get more work done together.
Site leadership is celebrating the impressive results from Hudson's initiative and encouraging others to raise their hand if it could mean lowering the cost of future projects.
I had a lot of support because when you tell people you're going to do something and how you're going to do it and you go execute it in that manner, they are more apt to support you when you say something and believe that you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
A reminder that sometimes one good question can change everything.
In this month's project updates, we have some exciting news that could drive even more economic growth in Oak Ridge. The EPA and DOE now confirm that half of the federal acreage on the Oak Ridge Reservation doesn't need environmental cleanup and is ready for reuse. Detailed surveys and investigations showed that large sections of the site were never impacted by past operations. In fact, much of that land was never used for DOE missions at all. It's great news for the community. With a clearer picture of the land's condition, it's now easier to transfer these parcels for economic development. In total, 16,000 of the reservation's 33,000 acres don't require cleanup and could be eligible for reuse.
Now, all the property won't be transferred. You know, there's portions of this property that DOE will retain for security purposes and for other reasons. But, you know, up until this point, we've been very successful, but we've only transferred about 1,800 acres, which is more than just about any other site. But, you know, when we have 16,000 acres now that are opened up, it is a much more attractive place for people to come to.
This is the latest in a line of recent successes between DOE and EPA that is advancing cleanup and getting land back to the community for beneficial reuse. They made it look easy. Isotek moved a large part of its workforce without missing a beat. The contractor tasked with eliminating the nation's inventory of uranium-233 had to relocate 80% of its staff at OREM. The move came after ownership changes and rising costs at one of its buildings. They completed the move in under 3 months. To stay close to operations, they built Isotek Village, transforming an empty field into a functional office complex. The trailers have power, internet, and workspaces similar to their old offices, and the project never missed a deadline. All 2025 goals were met or exceeded, a true team effort showing it takes a village to build a village.
The maintenance staff are the laborers, the carpenter, our electricians, our pipe fitters, our millwrights, backbreaking labor in the middle of July and early August, oppressive heat, right? None of those guys live in these trailers, right? They did it to take care of their coworkers.
Isotek also used the move as a chance to give back, raising more than $1,200 for Methodist Medical Center's hospitality houses by selling extra office items. Oak Ridge was the perfect place to host this year's National Nuclear Science Week, celebrating 80 years of atomic innovation and a new era of nuclear power. Hundreds of students from across East Tennessee gathered for the Atomic Education Summit. They explored hands-on exhibits and met industry leaders from companies that are investing billions in new nuclear projects, creating jobs right here in Oak Ridge. Organizers with the American Museum of Science and Energy say watching students light up with curiosity and excitement proved the event's impact.
We want kids to have an interactive experience. So this event, with over 26 partners between 3 gigantic locations in Oak Ridge, was all designed to engage kids where they are. Not bringing high science in some lofty classroom, but letting kids come in and see science actually happen and see science that's touchable and tangible. That's very exciting, and today's idea was all about making science real for students.
This week-long celebration also featured tours of historic and modern sites at DOE facilities and an expo looking ahead to the future of nuclear. Progress continues on Triso-X's multi-million-dollar nuclear project at the Horizon Center in Oak Ridge. Construction is underway on the first in the nation advanced fuel fabrication facility, known as TX-1. The Oak Ridge site will produce Triso fuel designed for the company's small modular reactors. Crews are now laying the foundation and preparing for the next phase, vertical construction of the building's core and shell. When it's finished, TX-1 will be the first Category 2 fuel fabrication facility licensed by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. It's expected to produce enough fuel to power up to 11 reactors each year. And this is just the beginning. TX-1 is the first of 2 facilities planned at the site.
Our first facility will employ approximately 500 people. TX-2 will employ upwards of 1,200 people. And then again, we're already looking towards the future of continued growth past TX2, which will just provide more jobs, more opportunities. Our goal is to utilize the local community, the nuclear community that's powered the nuclear industry for decades to help us be successful, so we can help them, they can help us, and we can all benefit from being here in Oak Ridge.
The TX1 facility will cover about 215,000 square feet. TX2 will be more than twice that size and produce 4 times the fuel output. All right, Teresa Robbins is the newest leader on Oak Ridge's cleanup team. She brings more than 20 years of DOE experience to her new role as deputy manager. Before her move, she served as the acting administrator for the National Nuclear Security Administration in Washington, D.C. She also served as NNSA's assistant principal deputy administrator for operations. Robbins sat down with us to talk about what's ahead. Sierra Hellemans has more in this cleanup conversation.
Today, we're fortunate to have Teresa Robbins here with us for a cleanup conversation. Teresa was recently selected as OREM's new deputy manager. Thank you so much for being here. Oak Ridge actually isn't a new site for you. Can you tell us about your previous role and experience here before you moved to Washington, D.C.?
Yes, I've actually been in Oak Ridge for, prior to me leaving to go to headquarters, I was in Oak Ridge for about 26 years. And in that time period, I worked primarily at the Y12 site and worked I left when I was the Y12 field office manager, had the opportunity to lead that site as it is performing its national security mission.
Wow, super impressive. And now you'll be using all of that knowledge from another angle to help transform a site you know so well. Is that one of the things that excites you most about this new chapter, or what else would you add to that list?
So that is definitely one of the things that excites me. Both the NNSA through their national security mission and the Oak Ridge National Laboratory with their blazing the trail in science and new capabilities there in high performance computing. Being able to clean up these sites to enable those missions is very motivating for me. And at the same time, with all of the reservation property and working with the communities to be able to reindustrialize that property for the new nuclear renaissance, all of those are what motivates me to come to work every day with a smile.
That's amazing. And you've been on the job for a couple of months now. So what are your initial impressions of the OREM team and culture so far?
So I love it.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to the team and thank each of them for welcoming me so well. It has been a warm welcome, and I love the team. It is a great team. Everyone works so well together, and there's a lot of challenging work out there. And to see the partnering and the teamwork within Oak Ridge Environmental Management, it's just a great place to be, and I'm happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you here. And as you step into this role, what are some of your short-term priorities or long-term goals?
Well, as I said, it's been a year of change, and with the deferred resignation program, the workforce within OREM has been substantially reduced. And so the workload and being able to manage all the critical mission work that we have is one of my big priorities, is to focus on how do we balance that, how do we get folks relief, but yet still achieve our very, very important mission. And at the same time, I believe that there are some things that we can do that will make it easier for the workforce. So some of my key focus areas right now is strengthening the partnership with our contracting teams. And then as far as I'm a mission-focused person. As I said, it's very exciting to me to be able to participate in the cleanup of Y12 and Oak Ridge National Laboratory to enable future missions. And I want to see how we can do that faster, even faster than we had imagined. And so that's just going to be a lot of fun to work with the team and figure out how we can make news in the future with all that we do in the cleanup mission.
Well, that all sounds so great. Sounds like you've got it figured out. It was amazing to have you here today. Thank you so much, Teresa.
Well, thank you, Sierra. It's been my pleasure.
Hi everyone, I am so excited to introduce you to Sarah Morgan, who has done an incredible job telling the stories of the women of Oak Ridge during the Manhattan Project through their recipes in this book called Cooking Behind the Fence. So Sarah, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
And
thanks.
Before we dive into a few dishes that you're gonna cook, let's talk about how this all got started for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I cooked my way through all the first ladies of the United States. And then, like I was saying, got tired of talking about them. And so I pivoted to my kind of main historical passion of the Manhattan Project and Oak Ridge and telling women's history stories, which is paired with food.
So who are we going to focus on today? What recipes? Out of this is Cooking Behind the Fence we're going to start with, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what do we have?
So we have Sophia's fruitcake. And Sophia, in the cookbook, remembers that she lived in a bee house, of course, with the alphabet housing, and that she really enjoyed making this fruitcake. And this particular fruitcake recipe has kind of like traveled the world a little bit, because she would send the recipe to servicemen in not only World War II, but also the Korean War and Vietnam.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of, that's a little backstory about the fruitcake. There's several fruitcake recipes in here.
Is this your favorite out of all the fruitcake recipes?
It was the simplest and the minimal ingredients. But yeah, I think some of the other ones might seem like a little bit more of a traditional fruitcake that you would think about seeing.
Okay, so you said it's simple, few ingredients. What do we start with?
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, which this is already done because this would take a little bit of time, you simmer your sugar and your butter and raisins, which is both kinds of raisins, golden raisins and dark raisins, and your dates.
Okay.
And you simmer that for about 20 minutes. It does smell good. It did smell good when I was
What if
cooking
you just spoon that and eat it?
You
Just pure
could.
sugar?
You could, actually.
Okay.
So you've got that, and then it's just really simple from there. You've got your flour, which it's already been sifted.
Okay.
And you've got salt, cinnamon. So it's just got some really fun stories in it like that. And like one of them was like this lady was really excited because the pineapple truck came to town. And so she bought up all this pineapple, and then she had over, you know, her husband's scientist co-workers and everything, and it was an entire pineapple meal. Pineapple upside down cake, pineapple cocktails, just the whole thing.
I'd be okay with that though.
I would be totally okay with it. But it's just interesting to think about, like, that was exciting to be able to get pineapple and have access to that.
She's like, we're going to use this until it's all gone. You got to make do with what you have. Okay, so we're pretty much, is it done after this then? You just mix it all together and put it in here?
Yep.
Okay.
We put in the flour and a little bit of baking soda, and then this is it. And then we're going to put it in our little pan.
Okay. And with a little TV magic, let's switch it out.
So
Ta-da!
This is the finished product of the fruitcake. Yeah.
And when you open this cookbook, it's more than just the recipes. Like you were saying, there's a little paragraph or summary about each woman, their story, and I guess how the recipe came to be, right? Or
yeah, in some cases, and sometimes it's just the recipe with just a little blurb. Then there's also great memories in the back. So even stories that not associated with the recipe, but just something that someone shares and remembers. So really, it's not just a cookbook. It reads like nonfiction a little bit. So even if you're, you know, not into cooking or that sort of thing, it's just fascinating because you just really get a picture of what life was like during the Manhattan Project in the 40s here in the Secret City. Being a non-culinary person and just a historian, this is an interesting way to pair the history with a recipe. I definitely understand how some of these people were struggling in the kitchen because there's more times than not that it does not turn out. So it's also like science, you know, with the cooking.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us today.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. We've got even more from this story on our YouTube channel. We're cooking up another recipe and dishing about a new project collab with Los Alamos. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more exclusive stories. Big stories ahead next month. We're getting an exclusive look and rare insight inside Y12's Beta 4 building. Former employees share their memories and missions from decades past. We'll have that and much more. And don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts. We post this show on our YouTube channel. Plus, if you liked a topic we covered here, we often have more on it over there. You can also follow EM News on our Facebook, LinkedIn, and X accounts. Thank you so much for joining us. New episodes come out every month. You can watch on air or online, same places as always. We'll see you next month from the Energycast studio in Oak Ridge.